Midweek chat. It is that time again, y'all. Tennessee faces off against UTSA here on Saturday in Knoxville, Tennessee, 4 p.m. kick on the SEC network. Got a lot to kind of talk about this week, man. I should specifically say on this Wednesday, Jabari Small, Jalen Wright, Joey Halzle, Tim Banks all meet with the media on Tuesday. Great conversations, great feedback. A lot of people are probably feeling like they are coaches once again, the Tennessee Vols sideline coaches, but they are actually fans, but they think they wear the coaches fits and they're in the booth on Saturdays. There's a lot of good feedback from Joey Halzle, Tim Banks as well. Good hearing from the guys, and Jalen Wright really loved a lot of what he said today. So excited, man. Or what Jalen Wright said on Tuesday. I'm sorry. And just excited for this weekend. I think it's a redeem game. It really, really is. And it's time for this team to put all pieces together. It's game 4, man. And it's the midweek chat. Y'all know what we got today as well, man. We got pump the gas or hit the brakes. Can't wait to dive into that as well. And, man, it's almost that time. Football in Neyland once again. You already know what it is, man. It's the boys from Straight Up Tennessee. We both locked in today on this beautiful Wednesday. Let's get it today on the midweek chat.
From 40, on the way, a knuckleball. He got it!
Oh, yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome today, man, to Straight Up Tennessee on this Wednesday, man. If it's Wednesday morning, if it's Wednesday night, if it's Wednesday afternoon for you, thank you for tapping in with us, man. It's going to be a great show today. The boy Tyrn with me. What's happening, Tyrn? What's good, buddy?
What up, my dog? What up, my dog?
Man, you already know what they got to do, man. They got to like, they got to comment, they got to subscribe, man. Hit the bell notification, join the channel, man. We've had a surge of members, had another member, the man Chris, join the channel overnight. Shout out to you, Chris. Shout out to David, Dylan, and Adrian, all members of the Straight Up Tennessee family. We appreciate you guys no matter where you land. We love you. We appreciate it. And I'm just excited, bro. I really feel like it's what I said in the intro. It's a redeem game Saturday. And it's not even like, oh my God, you're saying it's a redeem game against UTSA. No, not exactly. I'm just saying it's more about Tennessee. What kind of Tennessee team shows up on Saturday? And I'm praying to God we just absolutely go out there and just look like what we know we can look like. That's what I want to see. That's my biggest thing.
100%, man. 100%.
All our Apple and Spotify listeners, we love y'all. Thank y'all for tapping in with us as well this morning, man. Continue to rate this thing 5 stars and let the people know why they need to be rocking with us. But good show today, y'all. We got a lot to talk about here at the top of the show, obviously leading into pump the gas or hit the brakes. But Joey Halzle had a pretty profound quote, I would say.
Yeah. Pretty much told everybody to shut up.
And if you guys haven't seen it, the question was really this simple. He were asked if there were any inefficiencies with the offense right now that might be helped by inserting Nico Iamaleava. His response, no, because it's operational. Joe is operating at a really high level right now. He completely shut down that making a quarterback switch was even a possibility, my dog.
Yes, 100%. He pretty much told everybody to shut up, including me. Like, hey, shut up. It ain't going to happen. Joe's the guy.
And I think, understandably, man, like we are so used to just a dominant. We've been too spoiled by what Hendon Hooker was able to do after game 3 into really the back half of the year until he was injured against South Carolina. I don't believe that we truly realized how special he was. But man, I got to thinking, and I'm not an excuse guy. This team is talented and we should be winning. We should have beat Florida. I say we should be winning like we've lost 3 games or something. We should have beat Florida, but man, you forget, bro. Like you lost Hendon, you lost Said, you lost Jalen, you lost Darnell. Hey, you lost Jeremy Banks. I mean, like people don't like to talk about Jeremy Banks. He might have not known. He might have been a head case a lot of the time, but him and Beasley together, bro, that was different. And there's a lot of just little. You lose Byron Young, like there's a lot of little pieces to the big puzzle that was so special in that 11-2 run last year, and that is not me making an excuse for what's happening right now. Y'all listen, we are heading into week 4. Nothing is wrong. The sky is not falling on Rocky Top. But what you do need to understand is it's just going to be different. I still think that this team can get to 10 wins, but it's just going to look different than what it did last year. It's not going to be, in my opinion, it's not going to be those 10 wins where it's like, man, half of those, even more than half, are dominant wins. It may be 2, 3 maybe like a touchdown or a field goal. But the goal, I feel like, in this year, and you're seeing this all over college football right now, is, bro, you just got to win. Florida State almost loses to Boston College last week. Like, they should have lost. If it weren't for one really, really bad call by the referees, they would have lost that game.
Facts, 100%.
And it's just going to continue to happen that way. So, but Joey Halzle also had a lot more to talk about. Just said, the ground game wasn't there against Florida. We had been averaging 250 yards, basically 256, I think it was, 6.5 yards a carry in the first 2 weeks. And then Florida, we went and had 106 yards for 3.1 yards per carry. That's a massive drop off, man.
Yeah. And man, the thing about Joe Milton, because that's what everybody's on right now, is everybody's like, "Oh, we need to see Nico. It's Nico time." I was talking to you earlier about it. Like when you go back and watch the game, like he I mean, was he great? No. Does he have stuff to work on? Absolutely. But was he effective? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and what we gotta think of, and what we gotta remind ourselves. And I told you this earlier. Is like we gotta remind ourselves that he's not Hendon Hooker. Like he is not.
Right.
He's
not, Joe.
Yeah, and he is not the type of quarterback like Hendon. Like in the aspect of I think you put it very well earlier on the phone. You said, "Listen, Hendon could get to the second level, but once he got to the second level, he didn't have that breakaway speed to break a run."
Right.
Joe, not saying he doesn't have the ability, but Joe is going to struggle a lot more than Hendon to get to that second level because he's nowhere near as elusive.
Correct.
And also, Joe and Hendon are completely different quarterbacks. Hendon's a player. I'm not saying Joe's not a player, but Hendon was a player. Like if Hendon seen an opening, he was going to get about 7, 10, 15 yards. Then snap it clear and we'll go to the next play. Joe wants to sit back in the pocket and throw the football, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, look at the game against Clemson in the Orange Bowl. He sat back here in the pocket and picked the defense apart.
He did because he had time.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you how much like everybody wants to blame Joe about the offense because at the end of the day, when everybody says Tennessee football offense, you think of Joe Milton. But it wasn't Joe Milton. It's the offensive line. I mean, we throw screens left and right because that's all he has time to throw. I mean, we've seen that. We've seen that with the interception. I mean, Squirrel White was butt naked, running free. He had them burnt. And, I mean, should he have ate it? Yeah, probably. But at least he was trying to make a play for the team.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is you got to look at all facets of what's happening, right? It's easy. the quarterback at any university is always going to have the most eyes on him and the most pressure. And so in this case, with all of the preseason Joe Milton hype, everybody is just finger pointing at him and not really truly watching the football game the way the game should be watched, right? You got to watch it from a different perspective. Like, go back and watch what happened with Joe, right? Like, go back and actually watch that play. Like you said, they're playing two high safeties. Ollie Lane hikes the ball. Desmond Watson, the big 400-pounder, blows Spraggins and Ollie Lane off the ball. And so it forces Joe to move up and left in the pocket. And he's like, I've got, dude, like, I know I can throw him open. Arm strength is there. He gets hit at the top. If you go and watch it, he doesn't get hit as he's released, as he's throwing the ball, like as he's reaching back. He gets hit on the release, which is why it was a pop fly. Had he been hit at the very end of the release, I think he still might have completed the pass. But the guy hit him right at the top of his release point right here. So that's why you got the pop fly. Yep. And it didn't make it to where it was supposed to go. But I say all of that to bring it back to the point. Everybody's going to blame Joe because they just want someone to blame. And it's so easy to blame the quarterback. It's really easy. It's easy to do that. What do you think about this, man? You saw a lot of good things from the receiving group. Do you think that group is on the up? Would you say that group is trending up after what you saw against Florida?
Say that again.
I said just the receiving core looked great in the times that they were given the football against Florida. Would you say that group is trending up? And looking at what they've done, looking at Dante Thornton making a couple of plays, looking at Brew McCoy being a dog and doing what he does, Squirrel White in space getting open, Ramel Keaton. I don't know if you've seen it, bro. Ramel Keaton's release on that fade route, he had homeboy looking silly, bro. Well, silly.
I mean, in my opinion, receivers are trending up. Absolutely 100%. And then unpopular opinion here, might get some hate in the comments on this one, but Joe Milton is trending up, in my opinion. How many bad throws did he have that game? I mean, the pick, of course, he got hit.
And then it was three. I can't. It was three to me.
He overthrew Ramel, correct? On a deep ball.
Overthrew Ramel and Squirrel. Yeah.
And the Squirrel miss, I mean, it's not like he overthrew him about like 5-10 yards. I mean, it's right here.
That's kind of like, and I hate to say it this way, but like that's like a routine miss. It's almost like that miss to me was like, I'm about to make you respect what I'm about to do. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I'm going to show you that I can get it there. And then you're going to have to make a decision defensively what you're going to do.
It also, to me, I mean, you can count it as an overthrow, I guess, but it's like when that happens in a game and like you overthrow the ball like that much, you're like, man, that was nice. Like, that was nice. I mean, it's overthrown a little bit, but I mean, that's nice. It's the ones where you overthrow them by 5-10 yards and they don't stand a chance. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, man, at least give them a chance.
When I hate to say good overthrow because there's really not a good one, but you go back to 2021 for a second when Hendon Hooker was starting to get into it. Josh Heupel started opening the playbook a little bit more for him. I can vividly remember some drives like 1st and 10. It's play action, and we would just throw it deep to Javonte and see if he would make a play. Sometimes it was an overthrow. Sometimes it was just a really bad short throw. But I vividly remember, like, man, we're going deep to Javonte Payton right here just because he was the fastest guy on the field alongside Velus Jones in that year, right?
Yeah,
and
man,
so, yeah.
And I said, man, you miss a guy like that, Javonte Payton.
Dude, Javonte Payton was nice. Javonte Payton has 2 plays that I'll never forget with him being at Tennessee. The first one.
The screen
on Kentucky, first play, bro.
Yeah.
He was, oh my God, bro. That was nasty. The second was the kind of seam route against Missouri when he snagged on dude, got up and just flexed on him because the play before the guy drove Javonte into the ground for no reason. And he basically was like, nah, give me the ball. And he got open, Hendon hit him, and he scored a touchdown. And I was like, man, Javonte Payton was special. You don't realize, man, 2021, that group was good, bro. Peyton, Bayless, and that was Cedric's coming out party, you know. Jalen Hyatt got injured early in that Pittsburgh game on the deep ball. That was like probably Joe's best pass of that year. And Jalen Hyatt dropped it in the back of the end zone. But
yeah, man, I wish we would have a check at the line or something. Like when we see like if it's like first down or something, and you see him playing man on Ramel, or you see him playing man on Brew. Like,
we're going. We got to take a shot.
Like hot.
Yeah.
Like something just like if they're playing man and they got no safety, or the safety shaped way that way. Like
exactly.
Just do a 3-step drop and just
let it fly, baby.
Yeah.
Let it fly. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think Joe's trending up as well. You know, something that was really cool, Joey Halzle actually said about Dante. He's like, he felt like Dante, it took him time to learn the system. I want to read this quote, very specific. I want to read it fully. He said, he's a freak athletically. Let's start off with that. Size, speed, that combination. What we do is different. And sometimes there's a learning curve. You've seen it before. Like you saw Jalen Hyatt in year 1. Year 2 for him was completely different. He said, you saw Dante on Saturday night make some big plays downfield, got some balls on the edge and made a guy miss. He also got us a nice playback when we were behind schedule. So you're seeing Dante grow within the offense. And he also said, what he loved about him was his attitude hasn't shifted. He hasn't gone into this, well, I'm not getting the production I want, so now I'm mad. But what he said was all he is doing is trying to figure out, how do I get more production? And you can feel that from him, you know, like you can truly feel that from Dante Thornton, because I believe now, I think he only had like 15 or 16 snaps against Florida. But I think that number is quickly going to get to 20, because I think that Virginia game, him and Squirrel were split right down the middle.
Facts.
You know, and then it wasn't until Austin P where he struggled, and then obviously he got some more clock at Florida. I think that, like you talk about it all the time, I think that he's gaining that trust back with Kelsey Pope, with Joey Halzle. And I think at this UTSA game, you might see that number go like to 25, 30 snaps.
Oh, I agree with that 100%.
And then in South Carolina, man, it's gonna be go time. It's gonna be a true four wide receiver rotation, which makes me excited, man, because that game is massive, bro. That game is so bad. It's so massive.
Dude, massive.
It's massive this year. But y'all, man, you know, it's the midweek chat. We're gonna dive into our segment of pump the gas and hit the brakes. But before we jump into that, we got to let you know about a company called The True Tennessean. The True Tennessean serves as a merch company, t-shirt, hats, whatever you can dream up, man. They probably have it on their site. Go to truetennessean.com at checkout. Use the code StraightUp10 for a nice little surprise to help out with your order. Thank you guys over there at The True Tennessean for all your love and support of the Straight Up Tennessee podcast. And we're going to continue to shout you guys out all the time. So go to truetennessean.com, use code StraightUp10 at checkout, man. It's that time, Brody. Pump the gas or hit the brakes, y'all. So we got 4 of them today. And I like these. And so obviously it's all geared towards UTSA. Again, the Who Is show was shorter this week. We don't have much to talk about. It's just time to go and do it. But love this segment. So pump the gas or hit the brakes, man. Number 1, Tennessee scores 50 points against UTSA. Pump the gas or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes. I'm gonna hit the brakes on that one.
I'm gonna hit the brakes as well.
I'm gonna say we're in the 40s. We probably get pretty close to 50, but I'll stick into my 42.
Yeah,
45.
I
think I said 45.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit the brakes as well because we haven't yet.
I mean,
that's the way we scored 49 on Virginia.
You're right, we did.
But that's the thing is like it's just like with the defense. which we'll talk about in a minute. Like, until I see it, no, I'm not gonna say it. So hopefully we do. I think it's what a better time to go ahead and put 50 on somebody before you put 50 on South Carolina. Please do that. I'm prophesying right now, y'all. But anyways, yeah, I just don't know, man. We haven't seen it. I'm not saying it can't happen. I am definitely saying it can. But for now, I'm hitting the brakes as well, my brother. Dante Thornton Jr. gets his first Tennessee touchdown on Saturday. Pump the gas or hit the brakes?
Pump the gas.
I'm pumping the gas too, bro.
I really am.
I
I
am.
think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen. I think he got a little confidence in him after that Florida game. Dante Thornton did.
I'm pumping the gas too. I think the confidence is there. The athletic ability is there. I mean, we had him on the show. He said it out of his mouth. He said, I have never been this excited to play football in my life. And you're starting to see that. You're seeing the kinks work out. You're starting to see the nervousness of the gelling with the new team. You know, there's just things like that happen. And people just think people should jump to a new team and just, boop, you're just better. It don't work like that.
It took Bayless 4 or 5 games to get going.
It did. But now you're seeing Dante really starting to get there. And I think he does get his first touchdown as a Tennessee Volunteer on Saturday. Speaking of Dante for a second, he had a video yesterday talking about, somebody asked him, if you get the deal with McDonald's, what would your meal be called?
I seen this.
And he sits there for a minute. He says, it's going to be called the Super Big Mac meal. He's like, the Big Mac going to have 3 burgers. He said, because it's got 2 on it right now. He said, 3 burgers, a large fry, 2 apple pies, a McFlurry, and a drink. Oh, man. McDonald's signed that boy. Signed it. And he said 11 chicken nuggets.
11,
because of Mac 11.
11 nuggets. Give it to him.
He did. He said 11 nuggets. But yeah, I'm pumping the gas too, man. I think he gets it. Number 3, Tennessee's defense forces a turnover on Saturday. We pumping the gas or hitting the brakes?
I'm gonna pump the gas. Kind of going out on a limb, but I'm gonna pump the gas. I think this week it'll be. I mean, I can't imagine practice this week after that Florida game.
I think it's hot. It's lit there at practice. I can promise you.
Yeah, so I would say they're going to come out with a little something extra on the shoulder. You know, prove a point.
I'm hitting the brakes, and it is just because, again, we've got one.
Yeah,
we've got 1 turnover. I got to see it, bro. I got to see it. Not because I don't think it can happen. Once again, y'all, I'm very optimistic that it can, but I haven't seen it. And so until I see it, I just can't pump gas on it. I just can't. So, lastly, the last pump the gas or hit the brakes of the day is with Cooper Mays. The offensive woes end. Pump the gas or hit the brakes.
Can I say both?
I don't know. Explain.
I say pump the. I say hit the gas because I think with Cooper Mays in the game, you get the communication is better. You know, like I think the communication on the front on the offensive line is better, and the communication with Joe is better. Like I think Cooper's going to get everybody lined up and make sure that everybody knows the play. But I also want to hit the brakes because Cooper can't play for those guys. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's on the other offensive lineman if they can do it or not. I think Cooper will help when it comes like there'll be no confusion. Like everybody be lined up, he'll be calling checks. Cooper, I mean, I think I heard the Volquest guys help. I think it was Brent Hubb say this. He said, "We don't realize how much Cooper Mays helped Hendon Hooker last year."
That's a fact.
And I think that's another thing that I'm not saying Ollie Lane was bad at it or is bad at it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Cooper Mays will help Joe Milton when it comes to the game. So that's my life. That's why I say yes and no.
Yeah. I'm pumping the gas for sure. For that sole reason, right? I think what Cooper's going to bring back to the offense, and hear me, we're not saying Cooper Mays is playing Saturday because we really don't know. Shout out to my boy Matthew, bro. Guy sits on the same row as me at Neyland. He actually said it. He said, if Cooper Mays is 90% for South Carolina, he has to play. And I agree. He has to play. We can't have that again. It's SEC play, bro. Like at this point, we are playing for our lives to win the East. We have to have that game. You know what I mean? Like for the goal that the team set out for the year is to win the East, you have to have that game. And so Cooper at 85% to me has to play. But aside from that, I do think that the offensive woes end. The communication at a high level, the stuff that he's seeing up front from the front four and the linebackers, he's going to be able to help Joe recognize what's happening in the front seven. That way, if Cooper's holding all of that down, then Joe's all he's got to look at is what's happening in the back end. What am I seeing with my eyes in the back end based off of what we've got called? You know what I'm saying? And that's going to end a lot of confusion and a lot of thinking, I think, for Joe Milton, because you can tell in the second half of that Florida game, he stopped thinking so much and he just started to play.
Yeah.
And I think that is what Cooper is going to bring to this entire offense. Now, that does mean that the offensive line still has to be dogs. Like, you can't act like punks, right? Like, we can't get punked like we got punked against Florida. We can't. That can't happen anymore.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
But the communication, Joe Milton's having to think less, which means that only more big plays can happen because of that exact thing.
Yeah, and I think you're talking about the offensive line, like Virginia and like Austin P and UTSA, UConn. Tennessee can get by with those. They can win those games without dominating on the offensive line because you're just so much better. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in any disrespect or whatever. You're just more better athletes. It's just how it is. But when it comes to SEC, when it comes to Florida, when it comes to Alabama, when it comes to Georgia, when it comes to Missouri, Missouri is undefeated. When it comes to South Carolina, to win those football games, I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how good your quarterback is. You're not going to win that football game unless you can win in the trenches.
It's very true.
On both sides of the ball. Because, if you lose in the trenches, then you're going to lose the football game in the SEC. That's just how the SEC is.
That's 100% true. And we got to fight. We got to fight for our right to party.
The Beastie Boys?
Yeah. Or that Travis Kelce. He says that after the Chiefs win a Super Bowl every year. So you got to fight for your right to party.
Yeah, he is wild. Did you see when he was talking to Joe Biden and he tried to
Travis Kelce?
Yeah, he was doing something with the president. It was at the White House. And he Joe Biden's holding up a jersey and he sneaks away. And he goes to the podium, the legitimate podium to say something.
Yeah.
And he this is all he gets. He's back. He says, "I've waited my whole life for this moment." And then they're hey, you got to move. You can't do that. He was gonna.
He was about to have a full speech, bro, at the podium. That's like sacred land, bro. Travis Kelce's funny. And then, when he comes back to practice from that knee injury, he acts like his knee was hurting and he starts twerking. This dude is crazy, bro. That man is crazy. Oh, y'all, thanks for tapping in today, man, on the midweek chat. You already know we'll be back on Friday for the one more day. It's the final episode of the week before UTSA. Final score predictions, playmakers of the game. and obviously more updates from the week. Y'all stay tapped in with us for the rest of the week. Hope y'all have a great rest of your Wednesday too, man. Have a great, it's hump day. We made it. We made it to the middle of the week, which means we're closer to Saturday. Turn, you got anything, Brody?
I'm ready.
It's a revenge. It's not even a revenge game. It's a redeem game. Like I said, Tennessee's got to handle business. And we'll be diving in more to it on the One More Day, man, before the game on Saturday at 4 o'clock, SEC Network, Tennessee versus UTSA. For my dog Turn, it's your boy Ruck in the building. We love y'all. It's straight up Tennessee, baby. We'll see you back on Friday for the One More Day episode.